RNG of chance in StarCraft 2?
Yes, I can. They are where you spawn, and that's it.
I think there's one more. It's the path that an SCV takes to build a building.
Yes. That is true, actually. Yeah.
But I think that's everything. I don't think there's much else.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Are larva
since
movements random?
Larva movements are random. And also what side the larva spawns on is dependent on where you spawn, so there is a small advantage there. But it's small enough that I don't think it really matters that much.
Yeah, I don't think any pro has ever been like, oh, my larva moved south 1 pixel. This is bullshit.
Yeah, maybe in Brood War, but not in SC2 so much. But here we go, spawning down in the bottom right position, representing Mouse Sports. It is HeRoMaRinE.
And his French opponent in the top left-hand side in the red from Gamer's Origin, he is Stephano. Steadfast, I got a great idea to nerf Zerg players. Here's what we're going to do.
No.
Larva movements are still random, but they're no longer tethered to your hatchery. So the longer you go without using a larva, the more likely it is to like inch away from the hatchery over time. How cool would that be?
That would actually be so funny and so amazing, because there would be players who might decide whether to all in or not, depending on how far their larva makes it across the map.
Now that would be amazing. Controllable larva. They still move at like 1/8 the speed of queens. How about that? You control your larva?
That sounds great to me. But they only respond to commands for the previous 5 seconds. So you have to keep spam clicking them in order for, otherwise they just go back to random.
Because they're babies and they're forgetful.
Exactly. They don't. Yeah, they don't. They're like stem cells. They don't know what to do just yet. They're very basic in their understanding.
Somebody call Blizzard. We fixed everything. We fixed it all, guys. Oh, jeez. Little Reaper opening here from HeRoMaRinE, but I don't see anything unusual about this game so far. Do you, Steadfast?
No, nothing unusual really at all. Nice micro so far from Stephano. He's kept everything alive. And, I mean, nice micro from HeRoMaRinE to force out that nice micro, but it was just a really, really solid defense. Ooh, now there's Creep Tumor. Oh, HeRoMaRinE wants it so bad.
Oh, he does.
Stephano, though, he's going to pull a second queen to make sure that this does get up. And that will be a good grenade, hits both queens, but there's no opening there to snipe that tumor. Now, the next thing to check for is there a third command center, a super fast third command center? And yes, there is. And Stephano going to scout it almost immediately. That is really, really nice for him. And he even sees that it's a starport, not a second barracks.
Man, that's a beautiful scout. Obviously, you Zerg players know getting in with that Overlord is so clutch. Stephano moves in at just the right time to spot not only the third command center, but also the starport, telling him that Big Gabe playing very, very economically sound this game. There's not going to be any pressure coming for Stephano anytime in the next few minutes. Steadfast, put yourself in Stephano's shoes. You see that a player who's favored against you is going for an economic play. What do you do?
Well, I think you just play economically as well, and I think we're going to see Stephano probably get a very, very fast double evolution chamber and go straight up into double upgrades. If I had to guess, that would be... Oh, a little bit of a pause coming in. That would be my assumption. We'll just switch back to us for a moment here.
Thank you. Yeah, bit of a break. Obviously, if you're at home, you'd be like, oh wait, why are you coming back? To you guys, stay on the game. We can talk about stuff. A little bit tough because theoretically, again, I know we've got three minutes of delay here, but theoretically, a player could sort of wait for the pause, check what's going on the stream beforehand. It seems unlikely because we would have been, a minute into game. So even if Stephano checked the stream, he wouldn't see much. But obviously got to go back to us casters, and you can't say much while you're in between games. I learned that at the GSL. That was one thing they warned me about when I casted that. They were like, you can't talk about the game a whole lot because the players can hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
Even really? What?
Well, so they can hear the Korean commentators over the if there's a break at the GSL, they can hear the Korean commentators in the studio.
Okay. Yeah.
If there's a pause. But apparently they were like, they can also, if the players understand English, sometimes they'll hear the English casters talking as well. Because usually during a pause, it's pretty quiet in the studio. So they're like, be careful, you can't say much. You gotta talk about You got to talk about like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something during the break.
Well, that's fine. For some reason, I was thinking you meant like during the actual game. I was like, they don't give them noise canceling headphones. I was like, that's insane.
No, they're clamped up for sure. They can't hear
Okay,
anything.
that's
They complain. They pipe in artificial. Are we back in game? Sorry.
We are, yes.
Perfect. They give them artificial noise canceling headphones that have like static pumped in as well. I know Scarlett often complains about how loud the static is because she says it hurts her ears. It's just so annoying to deal with. Ooh, nice little snipe there from HeRoMaRinE.
Well, we are going to see this Overlord spot the Cloaked Banshee, though, and that is a really good scout. Stephano's got an idea of everything, and it is going to be that very quick Evo chamber coming down, the double Evo, so it will be very, very quick upgrades. Stephano, he's looking good so far in this game.
Look at that caster call. 10 minutes ago, you were like, he's going double upgrades, and then bam, double upgrades. Beautifully done, Steadfast. Yeah, I like the position, though. Double upgrades is really good. And like you said, since he's seen that Cloaked Banshee, he sort of knows what to do. A couple extra Queens, Spore Crawlers around, and make sure you get the Lair Tech up as soon as you possibly can, so you got some mobile detection. No Lair Tech up yet, though. Is that a mistake from Stephano?
No, he's just prioritizing those upgrades. He's already got the Spore Crawlers in the bases. And it will take a little bit of time for those Cloaked Banshees to get across the map. Now, Lair should be his next 100 gas. Like, he should be starting that pretty much right now. So that is a little bit of a mistake, the the fact that it's not started here. Oh, Evo Chamber just in time right there. Nice block from Stephano. Allows those Queens and Lings to rotate back in. Prevents any damage from really being, well, really happening.
Yeah, nice defense. Nice defense. I gotta say, Steadfast, the chat, I think Old Man Toast has fixed it in the chat. If larva imprint on the first queen they see and then follow them around like ducklings. That's the greatest idea I've ever heard of. That's fantastic. Look at this double Cloaked Banshee coming in from HeRoMaRinE with the Hellions out front. He's gonna force a cancel on that base. That's so annoying. It even gets the drone with the Hellions behind this. This is the problem of going very, very late with that Lair Tech, is you can't fight these Banshees anywhere except around your bases right now, and these Queens really can't engage right now until a Spore Crawler has to waddle all the way down. Just so annoying.
Yeah, I was just going to say I would have really liked to see that Spore getting repositioned a while ago, but that scan just cleared out so much creep.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it will be rebuilt, and one of the Banshees does run out of energy, so it was in a little bit of duress there. Hellions are going to try and rotate to this right side, and they're going to find all the creep tumors. Oh, that's annoying for Stephano.
Yikes. Doesn't even have to scan for it and gets a bunch for free. And then his scan can clear the inactive tumors as well, which is super duper annoying. Wow, this is great for HeRoMaRinE. It seems like a little tiny thing. I know a lot of you guys in your ladder games are probably like, yeah, in my ladder games, in Platinum League or Diamond League or even Low Masters, I kill some creep tumors, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's not a big deal. Is it, Steadfast?
Well, it is, in fact, a big deal because it is very important to have good creep spread so you can fight against the Terran army. Stephano, he is really getting contained here. HeRoMaRinE doing a great job, but nice transfuse, keeping those units alive. And it was 1-1 versus 0-0 up until basically just now, and no combat shields done either. So Stephano still is going to be able to hold here, but HeRoMaRiNE's way up in supply. Stephano not spending all his money just yet.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot. You know, normally I'd say the Terran player hasn't done enough economic damage. Usually I want to see 10, 15, 20 drones dead by this point to say that there's like a significant advantage in HeRoMaRiNE's favor. But Big Gabe is just looking so solid, man. He's got the Hellbats up. The Armory's ready. 2-2 starts up right away. So his upgrades are finished now. As you said, he didn't have Stim or Combat Shields later. Those are both finished up now. And even with Speed Banes here, there's a tank. There's a nice little choke point here that HeRoMaRinE can abuse with the tank positioning. And this is just such a dangerous, dangerous push.
That it is, and this is such a nasty position on this map. Ooh, Banshee does wander a little bit too far forward. The Hellbats are going to help a lot against these Zerglings, but we will still see a nice little start for Stephano. Does clear out one of those tanks. There's a lot of Marines here, though.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. Marine count all the way up at 43 right now, and HeRoMaRinE pushing across the map one by one. 2 by 2, the Marines of Blue coming across the map Steadfast, and a little bit of overstimming, and the Spore Crawler, of course, getting some nice shots up with the Widowmine here, and the tank in the background. Stephano trapped on a couple bases, and HeRoMaRinE just he's in a great spot.
Oh, that Widowmine does not turn traitor, but does not get the best shot. Still, that was plenty good with the tank and all those Marines there. That tank has 29 kills, and HeRoMaRinE, he's just going to stim in onto this mineral line, and he is going to be able to take out so many drones, going to chase these Queens down. Things, honestly, on paper were looking good for Stephano, but HeRoMaRinE just always kept him back, kept him from getting explosive, and now he is looking down the barrel of a 1-0 lead in this series.
Yeah, this is just looking real dangerous, man. 68 workers to 63, which doesn't seem that big, but Stephano down on 3 bases. Try and get this 4th base in the bottom corner, but that's going to be impossible to defend. He's got to survive this initial onslaught before that base will even matter. And surviving, I think, is going to be the really tricky part right now. He might push this back, does get the tank HeRoMaRinE, maybe a little bit too aggressive, but as we said, he's got Marines pouring across the map right now, continually updating these, yeah, the Widowmine there, getting a nice shot on the let it back. But the Baneling's not getting the shots they need. HeRoMaRinE is good skills here.
That was really good from Stephano right there. He is still in a lot of trouble, make no mistake, but that was a very promising engagement for him. For the chances are this game is probably beyond recovery. Maybe he can make something happen, but HeRoMaRinE doing everything he needs to make sure that that doesn't happen. Going to clear out all of this auxiliary creep that Stephano has been spreading. So, I mean, good on him. There's been a lot of pressure on him, so good for doing that. And he finds this base. But that's a really promising engagement for the later parts of this series.
Yeah, maybe Stephano will be able to sort of, as you said, the later parts of this series, move some of that talent that we've seen. Obviously, Stephano, a great player as well. But yeah, hopefully maybe next game he'll have a little better chance. He defended this base, which is a little surprising here, and gets another, like a 5th base up and or built, rather. Not up and running, but built. The problem is that HeRoMaRiNE's already got his own 4th base down, and wow, these Widowmines barely saved that tank. Or the Medevac, barely saved that tank.
Yeah, that was really close. He did get a fully loaded medevac, which is quite nice. Widowmine in the middle will get baited on out. Does not get a huge shot. Stephano. Oh, man. I think this game would have gone so differently if he could have taken down these rocks or kept the creep a little bit further forward. But HeRoMaRiNE identified what he was looking for. And, well, he is going to be able to clear out this base now and will get the remainder of this creep. So Stephano not going to have really a safe point to engage anywhere. Massive counterattack coming in here. And, well, there's actually not a lot here, but, yeah, it doesn't matter. GG is called. HeRoMaRiNE a little bit too far ahead.
Yeah, the fact that there was anything there for that counterattack just told Stephano that HeRoMaRiNE wasn't all in. He had the 4th base down, had armies on both sides of the map, would have been able to reinforce, even if the Lings got 5, 10, 15 SCV kills. Just wouldn't quite have been enough. So Stephano, unsurprisingly, going to drop in game number 1. I think really quickly, Steadfast, we got to take a short 3-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to have game 2 of Stephano and HeRoMaRiNE on a map that is to be determined. I'm actually not sure what their second map is, but we'll figure it out. Blackburn LE. So Steadfast, a short 3-minute break, and we'll come back on Blackburn for our next series.
And we're back once again, joined by the illustrious and talented Creighton Olsen as we get into Blackburn, which is, well, that's going to be a little bit of a potentially rough map here for Stephano. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's definitely potentially going to be a rough map for Stephano. Now, this map, obviously, one of the newer maps in the map pool, can be a lot of fun, can be very interesting, but we've seen a lot more standard games coming out. I don't know about you, Steadfast. I feel like I saw a fair few cheeses on Blackburn when it first came out. Some great use of those, except the slow zones in the middle of the map. Some great aggression based on like the large portions of map that go unused. But lately, I've seen just a little bit more standard play, and unless Stephano tries something crazy here, I think he's just going to fall down to the incredible macro of HeRoMaRinE yet again.
Definitely a very real possibility of that, but I mean, we'll have to see. Stephano had some good moments there. He had really good engagements in the middle of the map. He had, just some strong overall play. Hopefully he shows up and we get a competitive series on our hand. As we have spawning down on the bottom left, representing Gamers Origin, it is the Frenchman, one of the GOAT foreigners. He is Stephano.
And his opponent. Down on the bottom right of Blackburn, possibly one of the strongest Terran players in Europe right now, and definitely the physically largest. It is HeRoMaRinE. Steadfast, have you ever met HeRoMaRinE in person? You ever seen him?
I don't think I could fit in the same room. I don't know if I'd be able to, I just imagine that he just occupies so much space that I assume that regular doors aren't enough,
I think it's also fair. I suspect that if you got close enough to see him visually, you'd also get pulled into his gravitational field and become yet another moon. That's why he can't go to LAN events anymore. He's just so the computers just inch toward him over time, and everybody's mass has increased slightly in his presence just because he's so big.
Which is just not fair to the other competitors. So unfortunately, ESL had to make a decision, and that was the one they made.
It's that Airbud rule where there's nothing that specifically says a player can't exert their own gravitational field and screw everybody else up. So he does it, and it's just like the golden retriever that plays basketball. Or was the first one football, or was the first one basketball? Because they did like Airbud sequels, right?
Yeah.
And then it just consecutively. I'd love to see that franchise getting milked to death. So it starts with basketball, and then football, and then it's like tennis, and then cricket, and then darts, and then curling.
I was thinking curling, yeah.
Airbud 7. Airbud curls back.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna 100% watch that though. It's so bad.
I would be so on board with that. You have no idea.
I bet it would sell really well in Canada, actually. You're probably not wrong about that.
Oh man, Dogs with Brooms, the sequel to Men with Brooms.
100%. 100%. Could you teach a dog to be good at curling? I guess they could learn to push the stone, right? But they'd probably go fetch it afterwards, and then it wouldn't work out.
Oh, they definitely would. That's a really great point. They would 100% go after that rock. After that, yeah.
Well, one of the reasons Steadfast and I are filling time is because look at the builds this game so far, Steadfast. Why, look, it's a third command center and a 1-1-1 out of HeRoMaRinE. And look, an early third or a normal third base for Stephano with just a handful of lings out and speed. This looks to be a very similar build series as the last game.
Yeah, very much so. Now, important to note, there is not no scout from Stephano here, so he does not know that it's a super fast third command center. But that doesn't mean he won't be able to deal with it. It just means that he's not necessarily going to be able to take a build order choice, make a build order choice based on that information. And it is going to be another quick Cloak Banshee follow-up. So, yeah, if it ain't broke.
I'm a little surprised, actually. The Cloak Banshees didn't do terrible much last game. They distracted a little bit while the Hellions got in, and I think HeRoMaRinE played him very well. But really, I think the only reason they were so successful is because Stephano was so delayed on getting his lair tech up. And I guess he's delayed on getting his lair tech up again this game, so fingers crossed it'll work again for HeRoMaRiNE. Doing the same build twice in a row, though, especially in the first series of DreamHack, is very bold. Usually, I'd want to think these players want to switch it up a little bit.
I think that does lend to the confidence that HeRoMaRiNE has in this matchup, though. He is feeling himself. It is a really strong macro play.
He's feeling himself. Careful.
Oh boy.
Right. Strong macro play, though. You're absolutely correct. And with the extra barracks coming down, the Overlord has to know what's happening. And yeah, Stephano's actually going to see that barracks go down, so he will know now exactly what he's up against. But I think, as you said, points out to a lot of confidence for HeRoMaRiNE, just saying, you know what? You couldn't beat it last time. You can't do it again. I'm just going to go for it. Tons of Hellions out. Let's see if that armory goes down again. That'd be sweet. Little Hellbat push. Never going to happen. Plenty of queens this time for Stephano.
Yeah, I mean, if he can keep these Hellions alive, he can definitely use them as Hellbats later, but I don't think we'll see any like crazy fast Hellbat push. I think it's just going to be keep them alive if you can. But something very interesting that's happening here is Stephano is going for roaches. Yeah. He has gone... Oh, Banshee's going to pop on into the main base. And they're going to be able to find 3 drones quite quickly and maybe even get a queen here, which would be really nice.
Yeah, just 4 drones, 5 drones and a queen. All right, that's okay. But he's, yeah, as you said, he keeps both of them alive. Can be useful later in the game, either as a distraction or don't forget, guys. I think a lot of us are like, oh, Banshees are kind of cloaked. You know, they're just like sneaky units. They do a ton of damage. The output for these guys is enormous, much like Gabe's stature. So the DPS they add to an army when it comes across can actually be really huge. They really help to pick down queens and stuff quite quickly in the Zerg army. So we'll see if that helps out. Meanwhile, though, HeRoMaRiNE's creep clearing has just been incredible. He's picked off 8 live tumors so far. That ain't bad at all. Trying to slow down an opponent on Blackburn.
Yeah, it's not easy. The natural to natural rush distance, or rather the pocket third to pocket third rush distance, is very, very short. But this pocket third is not going to be all that good against roaches.
Man, sorry, I don't know if you saw this, but HeRoMaRiNE just had his Hellions up at the gold base of Stephano, and he moved his Hellions around. He saw a creep tumor finishing, moved his Hellions to the south side of the base, and then focus fired on the hatchery. Usually see people focus fire on one of their own Hellions. He focused on the hatchery to make sure that the creep tumor got sniped down. What a fucking big brain play. He's incredible.
That is really, really awesome. Very, very cool to see. Something that we're going to see from Stephano, which I really, really like on this map, I really love the decision, is he is going to go for the dark style of incredibly quick layer and lurkers is what it's looking like right now. We're going to be seeing this little marine drop coming in on the gold base. I don't think it picked off any drones. May have gotten a spore crawler there.
Yeah, it did kill off one of the spore crawlers that was building, and he's going to find himself trapped between a rock and a roach place right now, with roaches on the top side, roaches on the south side. But look at this, the Banshees come in, distracting the roaches for a moment, actually forcing them up to the north side. And while HeRoMaRiNE pushes with these Hellions down on the south side as well, clearing more creep tumors. This is insane creep clearing right now. If the creep gets out of hand on Blackbird, as you were saying, Steadfast, it's very easy to push from pocket third to pocket third. But if the creep is continually pushed back, it is so difficult for the Zerg player to rotate around between the 4th gold base all the way up to his main base. That's a lot of distance there between those bases.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of those situations where, yeah, you kind of want to expand away from your opponent as the Zerg. Oh, these roaches. Very lost right there, and that's because Stephano is dealing with Hellions. Hellions actually picking off 2 Hydras on the top side right there, and there's a lot of army from HeRoMaRiNE. Stephano doesn't have a whole lot to deal with it.
Now, Stephano's got a couple of roaches and hydras up on the top side to deal with these Hellions, but they're just out of position. HeRoMaRiNE's army supply is just so good right now, Steadfast. With no creep to cover this, with the Banshees to distract, with the Hellions at the north side, HeRoMaRiNE has just pulled Stephano way out of his comfort zone, way out of where he wants to be, which is bearing down with a huge concave of roaches and getting ready to move those hydras and turn them into lurkers. As it is, he's going to lose a metric crap ton of hydras, 7 of them going down, while sustaining almost no losses for himself with these 3 tanks in the background. Big Gabe looking bigger than ever.